Hello, today is 6/24 of 25 and I am here with a video of what I eat in a day on my keto journey. If you're new here, my name is Christy. I changed my diet to a high protein, moderate fat, low carb diet in April of 2024. It is currently 10:30 and I'm getting ready to make my first meal of the day. I did meet my husband for coffee around 9 this morning. So I got a medium iced latte which was made with whole milk. And then when I got back, I had probably at least half, more than half of it left when I got back here to the RV. And so I added in my serving of collagen peptides. So I am getting those in this morning. I am going to make myself a pork chop dish. So I have three 6-ounce pork chop loins here. Um, I'm not going to eat all of them. It's just this was the easiest way to kind of cut down the recipe. I think it's in half or something to be able to make it. I will link to the original recipe or put the original recipe in the description below. I am making one change. Well, nope, two changes. So one is that it calls for 1 cup of sliced mushrooms, and I'm going to put in a whole 8 ounces of sliced mushrooms. And then, okay, three changes. It calls for broccoli. I really don't like cooked broccoli. I'm not going to add broccoli in at all. And then it calls for a 1/2 cup of heavy cream, which for me is just going to be too rich. So I'm only going to use a 1/4 cup of cream. Okay, so this is a dish that is going to be made in my Instant Pot. I am going to use my Instant Pot, but the first thing I need to do is to brown my chops on both sides. So I'm using the saute function of my Instant Pot, and I have in here 1 tablespoon of avocado oil. The original recipe calls for olive oil. I don't have any. And then 1 tablespoon of butter. That's what I'm going to use to make my sauce, but also to brown my chops. I need to brown them all on both sides for about a minute. All right, now that I've got those all browned, I need to add in my mushrooms. And my heavy cream. And then I just need to cook these for a minute or so, scraping the bottom of the pan to kind of scrape up all of that delicious brown bits. Okay, I'm actually going to turn this off. I'm a little worried that this much liquid isn't going to be enough to get my pressure cooker up to temp. So I think I'm going to go ahead and add in another like 1/4 cup of liquid. Sorry, my camp host came by. Okay, so I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of bone broth just because it does take liquid to build up the pressure in a pressure cooker so that it can cook appropriately. And I'm just not sure that as much liquid as I had in there is going to be enough. In fact, I'm not even sure that what I have in there now is going to be enough. But this is what the recipe calls for, is only a 1/2 cup of liquid, so I'm going to give it a try. Just kidding. I mean, I am going to give it a try, but I forgot to add a couple of ingredients. Somebody stopping by really got me all messed up. All right, so I need 1 1/2 tablespoons of minced garlic. So I have my 1/2 tablespoon measuring spoon here. I'm going to use it 3 times. Actually, I might not even have enough garlic here. I brought just kind of what was left. I didn't bring a second container with me. So yeah, I'm going to be a little short, but it shouldn't be too bad. Not way too short. Okay, and then I need a 1/2 teaspoon of dried parsley. Now the recipe also calls for, I guess I made a lot of changes to this recipe. The recipe also calls for some thyme. No, that was a teaspoon of thyme. I needed a teaspoon of thyme and all right. Let's try this again. So I am adding a teaspoon of dried parsley. The original recipe calls for fresh parsley. It calls for a tablespoon tablespoon, I believe it was, of fresh parsley. So that means that I need a teaspoon of dried parsley. And then it calls for some fresh thyme, but I don't have any thyme. I guess my spice rack in my RV is not as complete as I thought that it was. So I don't have any thyme at all. So I'm not going to add that. So yeah, I guess I'm I can't really like give a full detail of if this is a good recipe or not, just because I haven't really tried the full recipe, but I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I've got my dried parsley in there. I've got my garlic in there. Now I can close my lid and I need to cook it on high pressure for 8 minutes, and then I need to allow it to naturally release. So I'm not sure how long that's going to take, but I'll get this started and I'll be back. My meal is done. My liquid or sauce to go with it is pretty thin. So I can see how, like, not broth, but adding more cream could kind of like make it a little, well, it would make it more rich, but a little thicker too, and would make it a little more satisfying. So I'm not sure that I would make it this way again if I really kind of like wanted that nice thick sauce to go around my mushrooms, or maybe I would just not add that extra quarter cup of broth. I was worried that my air pressure cooker wouldn't be able to get up to pressure. All right, so I'm going to give this a try. I feel like the pork is overcooked. I'm a little disappointed about that it's a bit dry and overcooked. So I think if I were to make it again, I would probably reduce the amount of time, maybe even by like 2 minutes, because they are overcooked. The sauce is nice, like the flavor of it with the mushrooms is very good. I can see how adding thyme would really like kind of like add a depth of flavor and give it just a bit more. So that would definitely be something I would want to be sure to add in next time. Otherwise, I think it's a pretty good recipe, fairly simple. I think I would make it again, just kind of like keep trying to tweak it to make it what I want it to be. So with this, I'm also going to have my Body Armor Flash IV that I've been drinking to make sure that I get my electrolytes in. I'm not exactly sure how much of this I'm going to eat. I'm hoping to eat at least like 1.5 of the pork loins, just to like make sure that I'm getting enough fat and protein and calories in for my day. I plan to go to the gym and do that weighted HIIT workout again today. 45 seconds of work and then a 30-second break. So I do want to make sure that I'm getting like plenty of calories in to be able to like have that workout. And then when I get back, I plan to do a refeed. So I usually do this about once a week. I haven't done it for a little bit just because like I was on vacation, I was eating a little more. I wasn't I wasn't working out as much either. But now that I am kind of like back into my groove, I do want to get back into doing my refeeds. So what that means is that I will eat more carbs than I normally do. I do that right after my like heavy workout, which this will be. And what that does is it restores the glycogen within my muscles like fairly quickly. So it helps to build them back up. Like they won't get as worn out and like used up. And then also when I wasn't doing refeeds, I found that I would end up not able to do my full strength training workout because all of a sudden like my muscles would just like give out. Like I could not lift anymore at all. Like I would just be in the middle of a set and then all of a sudden there was just nothing. And so in like talking to some nutritionalists and doing some research, that happens when your glycogen, the glycogen in your muscles is like just like completely gone. And so the best way to, well, I shouldn't say the best way. There's several ways, but one of the ways to be able to help prevent that is to have a refeed day like once or twice a week. So far, I've been doing it once, and that has been working for me. So that's great. But that is my plan. I will eat more carbs when I get back from that hard workout. I don't have a lot of carbs with me, so my plan is to eat like I think it's like 2 cups of my Greek yogurt and then like 3 cups of sauteed blackberries because those are like the only things I have with me that really have carbs in them. So that is my plan, and we'll see what happens. It is 3 o'clock, and I am back from the gym. So I did an hour of low zone two cardio. So zone two for me is like between 100 and I think it's 105 or 108 and like 118. And so I was around like 110 to 114. I tried to stay in that lower range, or I guess that's probably mid range, but I just tried really hard not to get up very high because I knew I was then going to do my weighted HIIT workout, which I did, and it worked much, much better to use 45 seconds of work and then 30 seconds of rest. I never got to the point where like I needed to adjust my form on anything because I just couldn't do it. Like say with my planks, I was able to just do my plank in, the position, the standard like, arm extended on my hands position. I never had to go down to my elbows or down to my knees. I never had to do that with any of the exercises. I did get very tired, which is really good, but I never had to like adjust my form because I was getting diminished returns on the work that I was doing. So that is fantastic. I was able to do 3 rounds. I did goblet squats, plank, walking lunges, kettlebell swings, plank hip dips, single leg side lunge deadlift, dumbbell lift, which is probably not the real name for it, is just what I call it. Weighted ball throw and renegade rows. So, like I said, I did 3 rounds of that. Now I am ready to, I'm not particularly hungry, but I do want to get these carbs in me to refeed like right away, right after I have done this workout. So I'm going to make my yogurt bowl with my Okios plain Greek yogurt, which has 25 grams of protein, which is fantastic. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to be using like 2 cups of this, but I'll double check that. And then I stopped at the store on my way back and I got myself a lemon and some blueberries. I was just gonna have to have way too many blackberries to like get to what I want for my carbs today, which is like 75 carbs. So I decided to pick up some blueberries because they are a bit higher in sugar. So I will saute these to put on top of my yogurt bowl. And then I got the lemon because I love the flavor combination of blueberry and lemon. So I'm going to zest this and then probably put about half of the juice into my yogurt bowl also. After I eat my yogurt bowl, then I will make myself 4 sausage patties. This is my favorite sausage, and 3 eggs in some butter. So that'll be all that I have today, except I will have some electrolytes, and I probably will have actually 2 tonight. I am really deficient. I can feel it that I'm deficient. I'm going through my water super, super quickly. Like I drink and then I need to flush it out. So I definitely need quite a bit more salt. The carbs will help me to hold on to it, so that's really good. But I'll probably have 2 electrolyte drinks tonight. I really kind of worked really, really hard, so definitely gonna need it. My plan for today was to have about 2,200 calories because I knew that my calorie expenditure was going to be fairly high. So I had also made myself some chia pudding. I used Keto Chow core chocolate protein powder, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds, and 1 cup of Fairlife whole milk to make it. I made it last night. I ate about half of it. I ate only 2 of my sausage patties. I intended to eat 4. I made 3 eggs. I only ate about half of that. I'm just very full. I did drink one of the Body Armor Flash IVs. I will make sure that I drink the other, but like right now I'm so full I can't even drink anything. So I'm gonna end up in another caloric deficit greater than I like again today. But I usually have at least like one day a week where I'm just more hungry. And so hopefully that will help me catch up. So right now, I have consumed 1,700 calories. My protein is 175. My net carbs are 67, which is actually a little lower than I wanted to be. I wanted to be at like 75, but I just can't eat anymore. And my fat is a 76. So I had an okay day today. I'm not disappointed in my day. I'm not really frustrated with my day. I'm just a little concerned because this is like the third day in a row where I'm going to be in like that 800 calorie range of having a caloric deficit, and it makes me worry, especially after like the hard workout that I had today, because I have currently burned almost 2,000 calories, so I'm already in a caloric deficit of 300 calories, and I still have the rest of the night to go.